How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we do have a video going over the reveals from set 3. We have been getting a little bit, so I was kind of like hold off with the first lot because we didn't have many. We would rather go for like quite a big lot, not just like a couple each one. And then I was a little, probably even still now, a little bit ill, so it's been a delay in getting this out. I did want this to come out earlier, but yeah, due to being ill and being quite busy for the first beginning of this month, I wasn't able to get out. But we're going to get out now. We'll have a look and see what we've got so far from the corner of this video, what we got for set 3, because there's been some really interesting and really cool cards, and we want to get into it. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best when you're available. So now we got out of the way, let's get into the video, and also I haven't got the giveaway out because I am going to do a giveaway from reaching halfway to my second goal being 2,000 subs, because we recently hit, pretty recently hit 1,500, so I'm going to do a giveaway for that, so watch out for that. I'll get around to doing it when I feel better. So without further ado, let's get in the video and check out what we've got for set 3 so far. So we got some leaders. So we got Obi-Wan Kenobi is the first one. So we got 4 leaders because we've had like 2 weeks worth of it. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I'm hyped for this because for one, it's in my one of my favorite kind of combinations, being Vigilance Heroism with Force as well. Love that, and it looks to be like it would be a lot more like Jedi leaders, hopefully. And Obi-Wan is good when we finally get Obi-Wan as a lead, and we got him back from when he's young in the during the prequels and. Also during the Clone Wars as well. The only thing I don't like is the art a little bit, because it just, I don't know what it is, but it looks like his head is just been photoshopped onto his body. Like the head doesn't seem to match the rest of it, which is cool. But he is taking a stance. But I think with the fingers as well, like he normally does like the 2 fingers pointing. I can't remember exactly, rather than like the hand out at. But it is the normal stance, and I'm looking hyped for this one. So Obi-Wan is as I said, Vigilance and Heroism leader. He is one that deploys on 6 resources, so not too early, not too late. And he does come down as pretty solid stats, 4-7, that's pretty good stat line, because it's a good amount of health, and it's a good amount of power as well. He also is another leader who has Sentinel as well, just like Chewbacca has Sentinel, and he's got an effect all around healing as well, because his effect when he's in the lead area is to tap himself, tap himself, and heal 1 damage from units they got, and that's a bit of healing. So around like we've had from like Iden, we've had is one that heals base, and Obi-Wan is just straight up tap him to heal 1 damage from a unit, which means you can kind of take something out, take a bit of damage back, and start healing it off a little by little, which is quite nice, which is a pretty cool effect. And then when he is deployed, he then still has that, but is on attack now. So he's on attack, you heal 1 damage from a unit, and if you do, deal 1 damage to a different unit. So you heal 1 damage off, essentially you're going to heal 1 damage off your units, and he can even put 3D from himself as well, which is really cool. He can even heal himself, and then put a damage on another unit, because it's just a different unit. It means it can't be the same unit you healed off, because why would you want to heal something and put damage back on? And also you got to hit. It seems like you've got to heal damage from a unit. So if you aren't careful, you will have to heal from an opponent's unit as well, because it's not just a friendly unit. It's just a unit. So if you don't have any damage on your units, you're gonna have to heal from your opponent's unit, but on a different unit. But the nice thing about it is you can heal off one of your units, put in your opponent's units one bit of damage, which is cool. So it's not the best, but it is pretty nice. It's pretty helpful as well, especially when you're healing damage off himself to put on something else. Is really nice. And also, it's also one that you could just chuck the Jedi lightsaber on when he deploys as well, to make him then a 7 and 10, which I'm pretty hyped about. And there's even that Jedi lightsaber in General's Blade as well, which is pretty cool if you're going green. So Obi-Wan, I'm pretty hyped for. Looking forward to trying it out, because I have enjoyed Rey, I've enjoyed Chirrut, and Obi-Wan seems to be another one I'll probably enjoy as well. So it's pretty nice. Next we had Padme Amidala. So we got the first leader here with the coordinate skill in itself, and I don't know what to really think about Padme, because she's one that requires coordinate, which is a new keyword skill you get in the set, where to trigger it you need to have 3 units on board. So you need to have control 3 units on board to gain that ability, which is going to be pretty difficult, especially when it's an effect on your leader side, and it just means that early she's not going to be able to get it off, because well, we'll go over that in a sec, but with her stats, she is a one that deploys at 5 resources still pretty early, and she has the new trait of Naboo, as well as like the New Republic trait as well. Well, I don't know if New Republic's been quite here since that one because we had it on Mace Window, but she got the new Naboo trait, so Naboo is a trait as well, and she's an official. And she comes down quite early, 5 resources with 2 power and 7 health, so good amount of health, like same thing as what's it? Same kind of stats as Tarkin and Cunning, that's the one. So pretty good stats. Not the best power, but she does have Restore 1 as well, which means she can heal base when she attacks when she's deployed. But then 7 health is pretty nice there. And like I said, her effect, like main effect, is around Coordinate, needing 4 units, which in the leader area, her effect is Coordinate, so it needs to have 3 units on board, and it's an action where you require to pay 1 and tap yourself. And it allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add a 4 Republic card, reveal it and draw it, and put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in a random order. And like it says also, it basically explains what Coordinate is, where you can gain this ability where you can draw 3 or more units. And now, trying to get 3 or more units on board in the first few turns, unless you have 3 1-drops, then it's going to be very, very difficult, because if you can get 3 1-drops down and play 2 turn 1 and then another turn 2, or even a 2-drop turn 2, then hope the ones you played turn 1 survive, then you can get then you have enough units on board to trigger Coordinate, which then means as early as, like, if you've got that perfect kind of hand, as early as turn 2, you can trigger effect for Coordinate on the leader side, then gain stuff. So this isn't one of those leaders where for the first few turns of the game, you're not really going to be getting her effect. She's kind of like, have no effect in the first few early turns, which is a shame. And it's a pretty nice effect to be able to, like, grab the top 3 cards, kind of search for something. It should have not costed energy, but it is what it is. But then when she's deployed, she got the kind of same thing, but now it's on attack. But luckily, the benefit of being on the leader when she's deployed is that she can count herself, because once again, Coordinate, you need 3 units on board, but while she's deployed, she counts herself as one of them, so you only need 2 other ones on there. And the effect is on attack, so just top 3 cards of your deck for a Republic card, reveal it and draw it, and you will have to put the other 2 on the bottom of the deck if you don't, or all 3 if you didn't grab anything. So their effect when it's deployed, Coordinate is not too bad, because like I said, you need 2 other units on board along with itself. But it just means like she's one that's not going to have her effect go off at all. Well, very rarely in the beginning term, because even then, if your opponent manages your board of units and tries to just control your board, you're going to have a hard time sticking 3 units on board just to get her leader effect side effect triggered. But when she's deployed, you might have a little bit easier of a time, but then you're not really going to get much of her use of her ability before she's deployed, which is a shame. But yeah, interesting one. Once again, there's like no rebels during the Republic, because there's no rebellion. That's 2 sides, the Republic and the Separatists, so it makes sense. There's none of that. But that is the second leader. I'm not really impressed with this one, but yeah, it's just maybe more cards can help. Maybe try it, or even, because there's no. I think exploit is the ever keyword skill. I think that's more for the Separatists, whereas Coordinate is more for the Republic. So it'd be interesting to see if there's a way to kind of get more units on board to kind of make her effects more usable, or is it just going to be she doesn't really get it until she deploys? But that's the second leader. Now we got to the next leader. Now we get dark side ones we've seen, and we got Dooku. So Count Dooku's in everyone. This one looks pretty cool, because it's one of those ones where you deploy quite late, so never late deploying one. Similar to things like Vader and Jab and stuff. Like some of the dark side leaders deploy a little bit later than the light side. And Dooku is one we're finally getting into. So there's a never Force unit in the dark side, also never Sith leader, and we got here with Separatists, so new trait is Separatists. Let's go along with the Republic. And Dooku's pretty interesting. So he deploys, like I said, quite late. There's 7 resources, same as like Vader and stuff. But he comes down as a 5/9, so 5 power, which is a pretty good amount of power. It's pretty strong, and 9 health, meaning that's quite a lot of health. That's only trumped by really Palpatine and Jabba, so he's the like 3rd highest health leader in the game. And his effect makes use of exploit as well, because when he's in the lead area, his action is to tap himself and allow you to play a Separatist card. So it's specifically about a certain kind of card being a Separatist, but there's going to be a lot in this set. And you got to play from your hand as well, and it gains exploit, meaning that you can defeat one of your units you control, and if you do, the cards you're going to play cost 2 less. So that's pretty nice. So exploit's a really nice keyword, a very, very good keyword. They kind of cheapen the cost of it by just getting units, and there's going to be a lot of units, I imagine, from what we've even seen, where when they're defeated or anything like that, like which is what exploit does, you get like a droid token or like some tokens and stuff like that. So token units. So it's going to be nice to be able to kill your own units off to make something bigger, cheaper, and then replace those units to destroy with new like token units, which is pretty cool. And then when he is deployed, he then now gains overwhelms. Any excess damage he does to a unit that exceeds the health on the unit goes to the opponent's base. And now his effect is this quite similar, just more improved and on attack now. So on attack, the next Separatist card you play this phase gets exploit free, meaning exploit, the number in exploit is just the number of units you can defeat to cheapen the cost, and each one you do always reduce the cost by 2. So with exploit free, you can defeat 3 units, and that reduces the cost of the card by 2 for each one. So you can, if you do the full defeating 3 units, you reduce the cost of a card by 6. But it's only on Separatists. Remember, it's only Separatists. You can't just put anything in, so you can't be playing Vader from set 1 as a 1 cost. That'd be a bit busted, but anything Separatist you can kind of make a little bit cheaper with this, which is really nice. So really cool. A magic member that commands in the, he's a command leader, so he has the aspect of ramp, so you can kind of get him a little bit cheaper, a little bit easier without needing to like add a command base, which is nice. You can make for some good combinations. And usually command with Vigilance is a very good control color, so you can put a blue base with him to kind of be interesting. Also, we haven't seen all the new rare bases, but we will see the rest soon. So that's Dooku. And the last of the leaders we've got here, and it is Maul. So finally, Maul coming in. I was hoping it would be in the last set as the Underworld, because technically here he is a Underworld leader. But I was hoping he would be in the last set, but unfortunately he wasn't. But we do get him in this one. And it's not the episode 1 Maul, which is what I was kind of hoping for. I was really looking forward to it, with the set being around the Clone Wars and stuff, getting the set 1 Maul, because we do have some cards from set 1 in this that we've seen. But also going to get Maul from episode 1, where he's got a dual lightsaber and he's from a proper badass and a Sith. But alas, we get the one from the Clone Wars when he takes over Mandalore. If you haven't seen, well, spoiler if you haven't seen the Clone Wars. But Maul's pretty nice. He's a pretty cool leader. He's an aggression one, so it makes sense because he's like a very aggressive character. And he's one that deploys at 6 resources, so not quite late, but not too late. And he comes out as a 6/6, so he's a 6/6/6. Got like the devil kind of theme there for him, because he does look devilish. And his effects all around overwhelm. Like you see, overwhelm is like just thrown on him a lot. And when he's in the leader, his effect is to tap him and attack with a unit. It gains overwhelm for that attack, meaning that when attacking an enemy unit, you deal excess damage to the opponent's base. So if the damage dealt to a unit exceeds their health, any excess damage goes to the opponent's base. And when he's deployed, he has overwhelm himself and gives every other friendly unit overwhelm. So you're like so you've got more incentive to kind of attack your opponent's units, clear their board, while also pushing damage through them onto their base. You're still damaging their base, just clearing the units out as well. I'm just hyped for this because it's a aggression dark side leader with like so falling lightsaber you can throw on it to make him a 9/9 that then damages all the ground arena units. And with overwhelm, you're going through and pushing a lot of damage through. Especially since you're pinging them for damage and then pushing damage through. And he's also their force unit to make use of the force cards as well, because there are some nice force cards in the aggression side of dark side of aggression. So like I'm hyped for this. Probably going to be one of the first ones I kind of start building it, trying out once we get the full reveal of the set, and I'm hyped for that. So that is all the leaders. So we're going to go ahead and look into the bases now. Let's have a look. So here we have the new bases. So as I'm not sure if you've all seen, but with set 2 we didn't get any new rare bases, but for set 3 is confirmed we will get new rare bases, and we have the first 2 of the 4 being, so actually only get 1 rare base per aspect like we did in the first set. And so far we have seen the command and cunning bases, new rare bases. Now these are quite interesting because they've got varying levels of health. Like before in set 1 we had either the 30 health bases or we had the 25 health bases. So all the rare bases had 25 health, or the normal bases had 30 health. But for this set, we see that the rare bases have slightly different variants of health, but it's still lower than the normal one, like the base, the generic one. We've got Droid Manufactory having 24 health, so one less than the ever rare bases, and Petranaki Arena, Petranaki Arena having 26 health, so one more than the rare bases. So you got varying levels of health, being either just one less or one more than the ever rare bases, but they have an effects that don't really need to be used as take up an action. They just automatically trigger. So you got Droid Manufacturing. Just when you deploy a leader as a trigger, you create 2 battle droid tokens. So you can have it on the good side or the bad side. Battle droid tokens. Remember, battle droid tokens are the new token units because you've got the clone ones and the droid ones. And the droid ones are vanilla 1/1 units, while the clones are vanilla 2/2 units. So when you deploy a leader with this as your base, you create 2 battle droid tokens, and that's pretty nice to go with things like Dooku, where then you can use attack and use exploit, then pop those tokens to play a Separatist card cheaper. So that's pretty cool. Or just get 2 1/1 units on board, just have more units on board to kind of do things with. I think don't know yet if we've got the confirmation or not, but I'm not sure if I think the units will follow the same thing as just when you play normal units. Otherwise, that'd be a bit crazy. That they come in rested or come in exhausted, not ready to go. And then for Petranaki Arena, it hits effect, which is an everlasting effect where each leader you control gains 1 power. So no health, just 1 power, which seems to be more of a Twin Suns kind of base, because you've got more leaders than that. You've got 2 leaders in 1 base. So this seems like a one that benefits more in the the Twin Suns kind of format, because you've got 2 leaders. But even then, you have this as a base. If you can double your leader quite easily with 6 around, you make your leader inherently stronger. So if you think about if you had like Boba, if you have this with Boba, he's now a 5/7 rather than a 4/7 when he deploys. So he's a little bit stronger. I mean, you can take out leaders on deploy a little bit easier. So he's like a little bit stronger. And that's a pretty cool base. But there's only got 1 use for the leaders. If you can get the leader out quite easily or quickly, like having this with Sabine, you can deploy Sabine. She's now a 3/5 rather than a 2/5. So you do a little bit more damage a little bit quicker, which is pretty cool as well. So pretty interesting with the rare bases. It'd be interesting to see what the other ones do, because you still have the aggression and vigilance ones to see. But still pretty interesting, and a nice little bit different from the other ones. It'd be interesting to see how useful these bases become, because you see with some of the other bases, some were like ELC were just always used and even still used now, like just very strong bases, while some like Jealousy really never really saw play, or barely saw play. So now we get and look into some of the other cards. We start off with in the aspects with Vigilance. So we've got the Vigilance cards. And this is first off, we'll start with the dark side of the cards. So we've got the first ones being the dark side ones being Wartime Trade Official and Calculating Magna Guard. So these are just the only 2 dark side ones we've got. So both Separatist cards. We got the droid being like one of the droids that Grievous has run with him, and the Wartime Trade Official being one of the Separatist officials. So these are pretty interesting, because you got Wartime Trade Official is a 2-cost 1 free. That when defeated creates a battle droid token. So one of those cards you kind of want to have out, so you can use them for exploit, because then when you defeat them, they gain you a droid token. So they kind of replace them with another token. So like even though you've killed a unit off for exploit that makes something bigger, cheaper, you then still have a unit. Even though you sacrifice a unit, you still get a unit back from it. So you kind of replace itself. Or even if you put it out and they defeat it, you get a token back, so you haven't lost anything. You keep something on board, which is cool. And you got Calculating Magna Guard being a 3-cost 3/4. So 3-cost 3/4 is the kind of like standard now of free drops. Like they're probably like best standard of each of them. Well, actually no, because no, that's actually a lie actually, because we got a lot more units now that are 3-cost 3/5. So this is one that's a pretty good cost for the units like this. So like 3/4 3/5 is a good standard. Like anything higher than 3/3 is like the more standard now. And this one's pretty cool because it's got an effect where both when played or when a friendly unit is defeated, this unit gains Sentinel for this phase. So when you play it, it gains Sentinel, so you can play him out. He's a Sentinel the turn he's played, and then anytime a friendly unit is defeated, he then gains Sentinel to kind of protect the rest of them, which is pretty nice. And it's got the text to kind of explain what it does, so that way even then people get new in the set free, because people might more want to come into Clone Wars, because Clone Wars is kind of a fan favorite, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. And it's got the explainer text so people understand exactly what these kind of keywords mean. So it's pretty cool, pretty nice ones for the dark side. And then we go on to light side. So we got some more Vigilance cards. And we got quite a few of the heroic ones were revealed. So we got Outspoken Representative, Kashyyyk, Kashyyyk, Defender as another one, and then we got Captain Taifu from Naboo as the first three of the Vigilance, Heroism Vigilance cards. So these are pretty interesting. So Outspoken Representative is a 2-cost 0/3, where you control another Republic card against Sentinel. So nice little Sentinel, doesn't really do any damage back, but does have a good bit of bulk to it. 3 health for 2 costs, not too bad. And then when defeated, you create a clone trooper token. So if they have to go for this, if you've got the Republic, when you defeat it, you get a nice little clone token being a 2/2 unit, which is not too bad. Keeps you a unit on board, and it's pretty handy. You got Kashyyyk Defender, pretty nice one here. 2-cost 0/5, so never unit with 0 power, but it does make up for that with grit. Like a lot of Wookiees have grit because they're like those big tanky beast kind of characters. But they can take a lot of damage, and they deal out. The more they get damaged, the stronger they get, which is cool thanks to grit. And he's got a nice little effect to kind of trigger grit to make sure, so he isn't going to come down as a 0/5. It's going to be like Kira, where the stats on him aren't actually stats to come out with, because he's got the effect of when played, you heal up to 2 damage from another unit and deal that much damage to his unit. So you can bring this out, heal some damage off a unit, and then put him on this one to make him a little bit stronger. So if you heal 2 damage, put 2 damage on him, he's going to be a 2/3, which is not too bad. But the nice thing is he can get to a 4/1 if he takes 4 damage, which is pretty cool just to hit hard. And it's another Wookiee that can go really well with Chewbacca. Like more Wookiees get for Chewbacca, it's pretty nice to have some more kind of like a more tribal one, a tribal deck for Chewbacca. But it'd be nice to get some green Wookiees, so that way you got more of an excuse to play green. So that way you can get the ramp in to get Chewbacca, because Chewbacca plays quite late, and you kind of want to get him as soon as possible. But also being a 3 or less means you can play him off his effect to be a Sentinel. But this is a pretty nice one, pretty nice unit you can play to heal off damage off a unit you want to keep more healthy, or put on a unit that kind of wants to take damage so it can be a lot stronger. Then we got Captain Taifu, so a 3-cost 2/4, so like Yoda levels of Yoda kind of stats. Naboo Republican Trooper, and he's got a nice little effect of when played on attack, you can give a unit Sentinel for this phase. So it's pretty cool. You can give any. It's like that kind of effect that General Raiken gives when he's played. You can give something Sentinel, but then you don't get the extra option of if it's already got Sentinel gain experience. But this allows you to give Sentinel to anything, so you can choose your leader, you can choose another unit, or you can put like a Sentinel unit in space, so that way in the space you've got a Sentinel there, or give him to itself as well when he's played. So when played on attack, give out Sentinel, which is pretty nice. Keep your base healthy, help against aggro by just going, here's this guy's Sentinel, blah blah blah. So pretty nice card, not too bad, and pretty decent stats as well, 2/4, and for a 3-cost, pretty nice. Like I said, these aren't the only Vigilance cards we got. We still got some other Heroic Vigilance cards in Obi-Wan's Alpha Sprite, Knight of the Republic, and the lovely event Hello There. So we're getting a lot of the meme cards, or like the meme cards, and also the movie cards as well, like Hello There. I think there's another one we'll see as well, which is a pretty nice card, a pretty good one. We got some more cards that kind of go with Obi-Wan's kind of leader. So Obi-Wan's Alpha Sprite being a 5-cost 4/6 space unit. So pretty good for a 5-cost being 4/6. Pretty nice if you think about it. You got the same kind of stats in I can't remember what it was now. There's the set 1 Dark Side Aggression one. I can't remember what it's called, but it comes down as 2 damage to a basing unit when it's played or when defeated. And Obi-Wan's Alpha Sprite's got the effect on play or when attacking. You can deal 1 damage to this unit and then 2 damage to another space unit. So you can kind of throw some chip damage as well. Just keep it like 1 played or 1 attacking, or even ambush. Deal 2 damage to yourself to deal 4 damage to another space unit. And take things out and do kind of fun stuff like that. So it can come down and basically be a 4/5, and then every time it's attacking, ping itself with damage and then do 2 damage to another space unit. You can clear the space unit arena quite well, like ping off shields and things like that. It's a really nice one. It's nice to have more like better kind of heroic space units for the Vigilance side, because they don't have the most, and they do have some good ones, but not not that many great ones. You got Knight of Republic being a 6-cost unit with 4/7, Force, and Jedi as well. It's pretty cool there. And when he's attacked, you create a clone trooper token. So you can put Sentinel on this. You can kind of make it force your opponents after attack into it, and then create very few tokens depending if he survives. And every unit as well with both Force and Jedi, you can just slap on things like the Jedi Lightsaber or General's Blade, which is cool. Pretty good stats for its cost, but then might not. But then usually you can get some of the same stats on like 5 costs as well, which is but then still that's not too bad as well. Doesn't do much on play, but is pretty nice where your opponent's going to avoid wanting to attack into it, did not give you like free clone trooper tokens. So you might want to try and remove this by effects or take out in one go. Then we got the event Hello There. So it's a 3-cost event, a trick. And every time I see trick, I just think Jabba, but then Jabba's the dark side, so it's going to cost 2, at the very least 2 more if you do try to play it with Jabba with blue. But then, so you're going to be playing for its normal cost in a with Jabba, because you're going to have to extra 2. No, you're paying it for 4. Yeah, for 4, which is not worth it really. Well, not currently worth it. You could try it, but I don't think it's worth it. But it's a really nice one where you choose a unit that ends up play this phase and gets -4/4, which is going to kill a lot of the things in the early game. So in the early game, when your opponent plays things like K2SO, you can just go, yep, -4/4, kill it, and things like that. Just like help deal with some units that get played that are weak enough that well, maybe either have not too much health, or even you want to reduce the cost so you can attack into them. Like if your opponent does play a big unit, you can reduce it so it's like lower on the stats. Like reducing it by a 4/4 is either going to kill it, or reduce it enough where a weaker unit can just finish off and take out, which is very, very nice. A very good card there. Looking forward to having that in my heroic Vigilance card decks, because I love I am a big fan of Vigilance in this game. But that is the rest of the heroic cards we got in Vigilance. Then we got to cut some of the cards that are just Vigilance. So starting off with these 3. So we got Royal Guard Attaché, got infantry of the 212th Division, and then we got Villainy Monday. So some more pretty interesting ones. So we got Royal Guard Attaché. It's a 2-cost 2/5, but it's not really a 2/5 because one player's got effect where you deal 2 damage to him, so it's technically a 2/3. But if you can heal the 2 damage off, he's got pretty good stats. At 2/5 for 2-drop is not too bad. But then that can go pretty well with playing 2 damage on him when he comes down, and using the Kashyyyk. Yeah, the is it Kashyyyk Defender? I think that's the name of it. Yeah, Kashyyyk Defender. You can then heal the 2 damage off, put it on himself, and now you have a 2/5 down. That's pretty cool. Then you got Infantry, which is a 3-cost 2/4, and it's one of the clones. So a few more clones. I'm looking forward to the clone cards to kind of go with give more use to Hunter because he's like a clone himself, and then a more with with Omega. You got like a clone searcher and some more clone synergy if you got some more kind of unique clones, which there will likely be a few of. And this one's one, I think most of the clones have like the coordinate skill for it, like attached to their keyword. So for this one, it's Coordinate Sentinel, so it gains Sentinel when you have control 3 or more units, and remember it counts itself as well. So it just needs another 2 units on board to be a Sentinel, which is pretty cool. And remember, if you can get clone tokens as well, then they count towards the coordinate as well, because they're technically units, and they help with setting up coordinate. And we got Villainy Monday. So 5-cost 5/7 unit. So pretty good stats for his cost. Also needs coordinates. It also does need another 2 units on board with him to trigger the effect. And the effect's quite interesting because when an opponent plays a second card each phase, you can draw 2 cards. So if they play 2 cards, second card allows you to draw 2 cards, which is pretty interesting. Plus, it's got pretty nice stats and a Force and Jedi. So I'm always looking for more Force Jedi units for my Vigilance deck for like Chariot, Rey, and stuff like that. Then we got the last of the Vigilance cards, and it is I have the high ground, so never kind of meme card. I have the high ground, and the Invasion of Christophilus. So our first legendary, I think, by the looks of it, first legendary card. No, wait, Villainy Monday is a legendary. I just noticed that Villainy Monday is a legendary. That is really cool. I didn't realize that. I thought he was like a rare or something, but no, he's legendary. But it makes sense because he had pretty good stats for its cost and a pretty cool effect. So I have the high ground here, being a little meme one, like one that's probably one of the best things Episode 3 brought. and it's an effect that allows you to choose a friendly unit, and each enemy unit gets -4 power when attacking a unit's phase. So if you have a Sentinel, you can use this to choose that Sentinel, and then anytime your opponent will attack into that unit, the unit they attack with gains -4 power, so it's harder to get through it, making it a pretty nice little combo there. Because I often do things where like I put make sure it's a Sentinel, and they have to go through my big ass leader that's got a Jedi lightsaber and things like that attached to it, which is not the best for my opponent anyway. So having this to make it have to go through it and not barely take any damage means I don't have to worry about healing up turret. It's going to be taking barely any damage. An innovation of Christophorus is the first, our second legendary. So I apologize for that. Our second legendary it has exploit 4. So it's a 15 of cost event. So one of the most expensive units events. Can't remember if the other one. No, I think the other one was 14 or 16. This might be the most expensive. I can't remember exactly now. But he's got exploit 4. So by defeating 4 units on board, you can reduce it by 2 for each one. So if you do the 4 exploiting defeating 4 units, you can reduce this by 8, meaning making it a 7 cost event instead of a 15 cost. And the effect's pretty nice because you basically choose an opponent and defeat each unit that player controls. So you can basically do a one-sided board wipe if you defeat 4 like lowly units and take out your opponent's entire board, which is pretty cool. But then you got to defeat 4 units. So unless you're defeating like token units or units that place themselves when defeated, then you're going to be clearing most of your board just to take out your opponent's board, which is interesting. But there are if it depends on how much like unit like token spam you can get in this for this set to make this more useful. We'll have to see as the spoilers go on. But that is the Vigilance cards. Now let's go and have a look at the command cards next. So starting off with the dark side of the command units, we've got command cards. We've got the these ones. So we got the Confederate Courier, Droid Commando, and Magna Guard Wing Leader. So these are all the Separatist cards. You probably see a lot more Separatists in the dark side of the cards. And first we got the Confederate Courier is a 2-cost space unit, 2/1 that when defeated created battle droid token. So it's the second 2-cost unit we've seen from the dark side that basically when defeated creates a droid token, making use of those exploit. It's basically replacing himself whenever defeated, which is pretty cool just to keep you have units for exploit. Then we've got Droid Commando here, being a 3-cost for free, so pretty strong unit, pretty nice. Same as I can't remember what the unit for set 1 was now. It was a I think Echo based defender, I think it was called. And this one is why you control another Separatist unit. This card gains ambush. So you can play the Separatist unit turn 1, play it turn 2. You get ambush with this, which is pretty cool. 4 damage is going to take out a fair few things on free resources, which is pretty nice. And even has that little bit of explain attacks, meaning you can play this unit and may ready and attack an enemy unit. And then we've got Magna Guard Wing Leader, another space unit, a 3-cost one, but with the stats kind of reverse compared to Droid Commando being a 3/4. But has a nice little action that's like reminiscent of the Rebel Assault and Layers effect, where you can attack with a droid unit and then attack with another droid unit, but you can only use the ability once each round. So it's like a 1-turn use effect to basically just without attacking, just attack with 2 droid units, one after the other. So you attack with one and attack with another one, which is pretty cool. Putting this in a space unit, and it isn't a droid himself, so you can't use it, but you normally droids are on the ground arena. I don't think there's been droids in space, but then that might change because you can have droids either that are in space. Now, well, I think you get some for the Separatists. You get some droid ships, and then you also got droids that attach to ships, which could be the case. But it's pretty cool. So, kind of same thing that we've had like Rebel Assault being attacked with 2 units in 1 action. We got that on the effect of a space unit as well, so it's out of the way of the droids in the ground, so you can force the droids to attack one after the other. And even then, that counts. I think I can't remember droid. I think the tokens might be droids as well, so you can technically attack with 2 tokens, which is cool. So either they're buffed to do a little bit of chip damage with them to finish things off, which is pretty nice. And then we have the next slot. So having the rest of the dark side of command, we've got a lot of big costs now. We got some droid generals, you got a big ass tank, and you got the nice little event consolidation power. So we got the 2 unique droid droid generals or droid commanders, being Kraken and Kalini. Kalani and Kraken. So you got Kraken here. It's a 5-cost 2/5, so not the best stats for a 5-cost, but when played, it creates 2 battle droid tokens. That's not too bad. And then on attack, you can give each friendly token unit plus 1/1 for this face turn, all your droid tokens into 2/2s instead of 1/1s. So that's pretty cool. As long as he survives, and he's a nice little uncommon there. But they still, when he played, create 2 battle droid tokens. It means you can get a set up your stuff for exploit, so you start playing things a little bit cheaper. And then you got Kalani. So he's a 6-cost 5/7, so it costs a little bit more, but has better stats in 3 more power and 2 more health compared to Kraken. But he hasn't got like an effect that gives you draw tokens, but he's got an on attack where you can choose another unit, and if you have the initiative, so you need to have the initiative for this, you may choose up to 2 other units instead. So actually, no, that's scrap that. You can choose 1 unit, but if you have initiative, you can choose 2 units instead. So if you've got the initiative, you can choose an extra unit, and then give each chosen unit plus 2/2 for this phase. So, and also because it's a never unit, so because it's a never unit, you can choose yourself, but you have to choose a different one you control. So you have to choose a, you can choose himself essentially, but you can choose other units and boost them up by 2/2. And if you got initiative, you can boost up every 2 units rather than just 1. So pretty cool card, pretty interesting. And you don't have to worry, it's like nothing to do with droid tokens or anything like that. Just buffing up units, that could be a pretty nice. That's a pretty nice rare there. Just like swinging and buffing up your other units by 2/2, and if you got initiative, 2 units instead of just 1. But even then, swinging and buffing up someone by 2/2. Same thing. The old unit we used to have for ELC used to do, but could do itself. But this one, because any other one, but you can, instead of just being able to choose yourself, you could choose up to 2 units potentially depending on initiative. Then we've got Separatist Super Tank. Doesn't really have any effect, but it's a 9-cost 8/8, so a very big unit, high cost unit, big effect. But it's got exploit 3, so you can defeat up to 3 every units and reduce the cost by 2 for each one you defeated. So if you defeat all 3, you just down to 6, making it a free cost. So if you got 3 units on board, you can defeat those 3 units and play it for free free resources. And that's pretty mad, having an 8/8 for free resources come out, which is scary. Especially if those units you defeat are gonna due to be defeated soon because they're low on health, or like weaker little units of the droid unit tokens. Then you can just drop this out, which is pretty scary to have this big old tank. This is pretty hard to remove outside just insta killing it. And you've got consolidated power, so this allows you to take your units you have on board and kill them to power something bigger, because it's a 6-cost event where you can choose any number of friendly units you control, well, for any number of friendly units, and then you may play a unit from your hand if its cost is less than equal to the combined power of the chosen units for free. And then you defeat the chosen units. So you can choose units you control and play something whose cost equals to or is less than the combined power of the card. So the power of the cards you have need to equal or be higher than the cost of the card. But then you play that unit for free, but then you defeat the chosen unit. So you will lose the units you choose for it, but then you get to play out something big for free after defeating some little units as well. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool. Pretty interesting how it works, but then you can kind of you get some units that don't have the same power as their cost. Then you can choose some weaker units to go with it to kind of bring out something, to maybe cheat something out a little bit quicker. It's a little bit bigger, which is really cool. It's a pretty cool unit, nice little rare there as well. Some pretty good cards here for the dark side. But now we're going to go into the heroic side, and there are some very nice ones there. Because we've got Echo, so we've got Never Echo, so Never of the Bad Batch. Echo, and this is before he joined the Bad Batch. If you don't see the episode, Echo was basically a standard trooper, and she joined the Bad Batch because he became, as he is in the card of the show if you haven't seen him. These are 2-cost 2/2. Then we got Republic Tactical Soldier, so Never clones, some more clones, nice in green as well for Hunter. So this one's a 2-cost 1/4. Then we got Shaq T, the Jedi who helped train up the clones, and 4-cost 3/4. So kind of like the 3-cost kind of stats on a 4-cost, but some interesting effects on it. And then we got Pelter Suppliant Frigate, being a 5-cost 3/6. So start off with Echo. He's got the coordinate as his thing. So coordinates. If you've got 2 other units along with him on board, he's a 2/2. So it becomes a 4/4 for 2 if you've got 2 other units out. So if you lose on those units and you go down to 2 or less units, he then goes back down to a standard 2/2. but still it's pretty not too bad. Getting a 2-cost 4/4 is pretty nice. Makes its ways a unique one. Well, he is Echo as well, so he makes its ways unique. And there's more unique clones ready for Hunter. Then we've got a Republic Tactical Officer. So this is a 2-cost 1/4. A clone, so never clone, which is nice. And when played, you can attack with a Republic card, and it gets +2 for that attack. So never one of those cards which can attack, or can allow a unit to attack. And if it's a specific kind of trait, you get an extra benefit, like we've had a Fleet Lieutenant, where you can play out attack with a card, and if it's a rebel, get a bit of buffs. And we've got a Separatist one where you well, not Separatist, but a Imperial one, you can attack with unit if it's Imperial, get +2, and then you got this one for Republic. So like the main traits like that, I imagine there will be one for Separatists as well. So like unit can come out, and if it's a faction like Rebel, Imperial, Republic, things like that, gets a boost. In this case, it's for the Republic. It's a pretty nice one there, and I've also one for Clone as well. It's pretty nice stats. Not too bad stats for a 2-cost. And we got Shaq T, so a 4-cost 3/4, and never Force Jedi, and also Republic. And this one gives a boost to your clone tokens, because each friendly token unit gets +1 power. So they go from a 2/2 to a 3/2, so become a bit more threatening. And on attack, every time she attacks, she creates you a clone trooper token. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice effect there. And then you got part of the supply frigate. This is another one with the coordinate skill. And the coordinate skill with this, remember, when you play it, if you got 2 other units on board, you can trigger it, because it needs to have 3 on board. And this is one played, create a clone trooper token. So another way to kind of spam out those tokens, which is pretty cool. The token sides differ, because the light side is all about creating these tokens to kind of like trigger their coordinate skills, and then have pretty strong token units, which is pretty nice. Whereas the dark side, they can spam out tokens a little bit easier, a little bit more, but they get more benefit of those, where they create these clone tokens, these droid tokens, even though they're quite weak, just 1/1s, they're there fodder to be defeated, so that way you can exploit to play out things like bigger things cheaper, which is kind of embodies like how they kind of fight in the series as well in the films. So that is the heroic side of command. Then we've got some other command cards, and we've got the double command cards, being the first 2 double aspect cards, and we got them for greens. We got Maz Amada, I think Maz Amida. Yeah, I think that's right how you spell it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then manufacturer soldiers. We got Maz being a 2-cost unit, a 0/4, so no power but a good amount of bulk. And pretty nice one to play at turn 1, especially for like Palpatine, because then when you play another unit, you may source this unit, and if you do, search the top 4 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal it, and draw it. So kind of nice for searchers, having this out turn 1 and then playing a unit turn 2, so that way you can get the benefit of this by resting this and getting more units. You can keep doing it every turn after turn. It's really cool. So it's another nice turn 1 unit for double command. Like double command is getting a lot more good units. I look forward to trying out. I do like double command. I still do need to play Palpatine double green, and it's one of my favorite. Like one of my well, I like all the double aspects apart from double aggression. I don't really try, but all of them I just like and enjoy. I like the double aspects. It's one of my favorite kind of combinations going double. And then you've got the manufacturer's soldiers, being a 3-cost supply event, which you can choose one. You can either create 2 clone trooper tokens, which are basically will be both 2 units, or create 3 battle droid tokens, which is 3 1/1 units. But then you either create 2 clone trooper tokens for deep, like solid units you can attack with and basically fight away with, or create 3 battle droid tokens, which you can then abuse with exploit. So pretty nice cards. Pretty good ones for them, like good functions for either. They were nice that both can be used for like either side of the force as well. And then we've got the last lot of the command cards being our next legendary Gore, and some other nice clone cards. So we've got 501st Liberator, being a 3-cost 3/3, where when played, if you control another Republic unit, you may heal 3 damage in your base, a nice bit of healing for if you do a Republic focused deck. You also have the event Clone Wars, so this one here before we get to Legendary, being a 2-cost disaster event. Now it's a 2-cost event, but then you can pay any number of resources and create that many clone trooper tokens, and then each opponent creates that many battle droid tokens. So this is going to be a like a risky one in, what's it called, Twin Suns, because it gives each opponent that many Battle Droid tokens, where you get that many Clone Trooper tokens. So if you say paid this for 2 and then paid never 4 resources, you get 4 Clone Trooper tokens. But then your opponents would get 4 Battle Droid tokens. And while Battle Droid tokens are a little bit weaker, they still get more. And if they're like a Separatist deck or a Dark Side deck, they can use those tokens for exploits. So you have to be careful with this. Then we have Gore. So this is one of those never high costing units, a 12 cost with just 7/7 stats. But as you can see, it's got exploit. It's got a load of keyword skills. It's got exploit free, meaning you can defeat up to 3 resources. Well, sorry, 3 units, and then make it cheaper by 2 for each unit you defeated. So you can make it down to a 6 cost 7/7, which is pretty cool. And then it has Sentinel, meaning you have to get through this to attack your base whenever unit in that phase. It's got Ambush, so it can attack straight away. And Overwhelm, meaning any excess damage dealt to unit goes to your opponent's base. So pretty good. Pretty scary one. It's a Separatist and a creature, so it's not got the, but it's a Separatist, so you can, I don't know if you can add exploit on top. So I'm not sure if with yeah, it'd be interesting to know if with Count Dooku you can use his one attack when he's deployed to then make this a exploit 6. So add exploit 3, and it'd be interesting to see when we get the rules for it if exploit stacks. Because if you can get exploit 6, you can technically defeat 6 units of players for free, which would be really cool. So then you can kind of yeah, if you got 3 other units on board, play Kraken, get 2 Battle Droid tokens out, and then swing with Dooku, and then play out this for literally nothing, which would be really cool, really interesting like that. So I have to kind of see how that goes. But that's all the command cards. So yeah, all the command cards look pretty nice, interesting. Try and command out a lot more with the clones than anything else. But now we're going to move on to aggression, see what cards we got for that. So start off with the aggression cards. Start off with the dark side, and we have these 3: the Force users, being Azure. I think Azure Ventress. I just know as Ventress. I don't know what I don't know if I pronounced it right. Azure Ventress. We got Darth Maul, and we got Savage Oppress. So it's pretty cool cards we've got. So Ventress here. She is a 4 cost 2/4 with exploit 2, so you can potentially play her for free because you can use exploits. Remember, with exploit, you can defeat that many units in number exploits. So exploit 2, you can defeat up to 2 of your own units, and then you reduce the cost of this card by 2 for each one. So you defeat 2 resources. Well, if you, it's not a resource, I keep saying resources, but it's units. If you defeat 2 units, you can reduce this by 4, meaning you can play it for free, which is pretty cool. And she's got a nice little effect there where on attack, if you attack with another Separatist unit this phase, she gains an extra 3 power for this phase, meaning then she becomes a 5/4, which is pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. And then we've got the first of the aggression legendaries. And we have Darth Maul. So that Darth Maul and Ventress are both cards that we saw from the collector's thing for conventions that you could get. Little collectioning, like all nice looking cards, and they were both shown. And Maul, we kind of get now like more explanation about to its effect, because we knew the effect of these two. Well, we knew exploit, we didn't know exactly what exploit did, and we knew about like Maul's effect. We didn't get like kind of explainer text because on collector's cards like that, they kind of reduced the text to not have like the keywords, not have the explainer text. So it kind of looks nice. You can focus more on the art. And Maul has the effect where you can attack 2 units instead of 1. And it kind of wasn't, we were unsure about exactly how it functioned, if he attacks 1 at a time or if he attacks both at the same time. And we got clarification in his effect. So he's a 5 cost 5/6 in legendary as well, Force and Sith. And it explains his effect where this unit deals combat damage to both defenders, and they both deal their combat damage to this unit. All damage is dealt simultaneously, so it's all dealt at the same time. So he'd deal 5 damage to both the units, and those units will do damage back. So if they deal 3 each, they're all going to kill each other. Otherwise, it's he might survive, but he can attack 2 units at once, which is very good, especially if you throw manage to get ambush on this. They can attack straight away, take him out, and take out 2 units at once, which is amazing. I do like that. And also we got Savage Press. This is a 7 cost 7/7, so a pretty big unit. High costing, pretty strong, both bulky and powerful. And then when played, if you control fewer units, including itself, than your opponent, you ready this unit. So if your opponent has 1 unit and you have none, and you play this out, then I think I think you need to at least have 2 because it includes itself. So if you run it as 2 units, you play this out, and you got nothing else on board, it will restand itself, and so you can then attack with them straight away. And he's also the first one that has the new Knight trait, so Knight, which is interesting. I'm not sure if they're going to capitalize that. It's going to be one of those traits where I just have to kind of have on it that maybe get more benefit in future. But currently, he has Knight as well as Force Underworld, because you can see this mole. The mole unit is from episode 1, while the Savage unit is from the Clone Wars. When basically they find him, Dooku needs a new apprentice to kind of, Ventress gets a new it's where Dooku gets a new apprentice and he gets Savage. So that's the first of the dark side cards for aggression. And then we go to the next lot. So we got some more of the Separatist ones. We got a lot of Separatist dark side cards in the aggression. So we got OOM Series Officer, nice little droid unit, 2 cost 2/1. We got Confederate Tri-Fighter being a 3 cost 3/3 space unit. We got B1 Attack Platform being a 3 cost 5/2 ground unit. And then we got Squadron of Vultures being a 6 cost 5/4 space unit. So pretty nice one. So not many go effects to go over because some don't have any, some do have very little on terms of effects. So the series officer, he's just got a when defeated, deal 2 damage to a base. So when he's taken out, 2 damage to a base, nice aggressive, kind of how aggression kind of works with throwing up damage, not be a base for units. Then you got Confederate Tri-Fighter, where just basically just meaning bases can't be healed. So we have that kind of already in Wolf. Like Wolf is one of those clones where when he attacks one played, your bases can't be healed for the phase. But this puts it into a new light. Being on the dark side gets it, so you basically just was out. Basically, just can't be healed in general. So hold off on like both Command and Vigilance by not being able to heal their own base. Then you got B1 Attack Platform. It's a skillless card, but it's skills because it's a cheap costing at 3 with only 2 health. So not big as health, but a whopping 5 power. So it's a very heavy hitting skillless card. And you got Squadron of Vultures, so never one of those cards has exploit, and another one that has exploit up to the amount where you can let you play it for free, because it's got exploit free, meaning that you can just defeat up to 3 of your units, and then reduce the cost of this card by 2 for each one you defeat. So if you defeat the full 3, you can play this out for nothing, which is pretty nice. Get a nice 5/4 space unit on board by defeating like 3 droid tokens, which is pretty nice. Then we go on to the start of the dark side. We go on to the light side. So we got some light side cards for aggression. We've got Batch Brothers being another clone, so a new aggression clone, being a 3 cost 2/1, where when played it creates a clone trooper token. So you got a clone that just creates another clone, and not too bad for its cost, but there's a nice fact to go with it. Then we got Low Altitude Gunship being a 6 cost 6/5. It's a ground unit, just a vehicle one. So Overwhelm, so any excess damage dealt to a unit goes to your opponent's base, and then when played, you can choose an enemy unit and deal 1 damage to it for each Republic unit. So it will count itself, and also it counts Republic units just in all areas. So it's all friendly Republic units, not your opponents, but it counts the Republic units in both your space arena and ground arena, so you can do quite a bit of damage. It's like similar to a higher costing one of Akbar, just it doesn't just count units in a certain area, it counts a certain type of units, but in all areas, so Republic ones. So those are the only 2 heroic aggression cards. We hope to see more. We did get a fair few when we saw Ahsoka, because that's from the star deck, and it was the red white leader for that. Then we got some more aggression units, not too many. We got a few here. So we've got these 3. So Vanguard Droid Bomber, a new droid one not in the dark side. We've got Relentless Rocket Droid, a droid units in not in the dark side. And we got Asura Singh. So quite interesting one. So Vanguard Droid Bomber is a 2 cost 2/2 Separatist Droid Vehicle Fighter, where when played, if you control another Separatist unit, you deal 2 damage to an enemy base. So you need to have you kind of ideally want to play this if you got a Separatist on the board, so you can kind of do that 2 damage to opponent's base. Then you got Relentless Rocket Droid, a 4 cost 3/5, so the stats are a 3 cost, but at a higher cost, it's 1 cost more. And then while you control another Trooper, which is a Trooper is a trait we've had since set 1, and you get on a fair few cards. And then if you do control another Trooper unit, it gains extra 2 powers. It becomes a 4 cost 5/5, which is pretty good, pretty decent. And then we got Zura Singh, which is a 7 cost. 7/6, so mole kind of stats. And then it has overwhelm just like mole, but then it's got it doesn't attack straight away. But when enemy ground unit attacks your base, you can ready this unit. So you can kind of put this out, and your opponent needs to kind of be wary, because anytime any grounded unit attacks your base, you're going to be readying this unit. You don't really want to ready this a lot, because just anytime if you don't deal with that, you keep attacking your opponent's base, your base. Well, you got this on, you just keep restanding this and swing with it, restand, swing with it. Pretty nice effect. Your opponent has to worry about dealing with this, but then it's quite high costing, pretty good stats, but then it needs to take a turn to use it unless your opponent goes for your base. So once you drop this, your opponent's ideally not going to go for your base. Well, it depends, because if you put this out the first thing of your turn, they're going to maybe avoid going for your base with ground unit, so you don't get to restand this. And then even if they've got things like space or stuff like that, if you just pass while waiting for them to attack your enemy base, because you don't want to claim the turn, because then they're going to go ahead and just attack your base. You can restand this, but you can't really attack with it because you've taken initiative. But then if you keep doing that, they're just basically taking initiative as soon as they have only ground units, so they can then take initiative on the next one and potentially take it out while having some resources to do that. So pretty nice unit, but then I'm not sure how it's going to be in competitive play. And then for the next slot and the last slot of aggression cards, we've got Heavy and Grenade Strikes, and more Republic kind of cards. So Heavy is one of those unique clones. He's a 4-cost 4/4. Has coordinate attached to his raid 2, so while you control 2 other units along with him, he gains raid 2, meaning when he attacks, he gains 2 extra power for that attack. And then when defeated, deal 1 damage to each heavy enemy ground unit. So your opponent takes him out, or he's just defeated, you deal 1 damage to each of your opponent's ground units, which is pretty nice. And a 4-cost 4/4 is not too bad, especially with raid 2s then swinging. More units you have on board, especially if you get clone tokens, then you can swing a bit harder at 6, which is pretty nice, pretty tasty. You got Grenade Strike. So this is a 2-cost event, allowing you to deal 2 damage to a unit, and then also deal 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. So you can deal damage on 2 different things, 2 on one and 1 on the other. But then I'm not sure that's great for the cost of 2. Like 2 damage, you can do the same kind of thing with Daring Raid, I think the card is, where you can just ping for 1. Ping 2 damage either to a unit or to your opponent's base, and that gives you flexibility of either being able to finish your opponent off on doing damage to the base, or just focus on being aggressive there, or do 2 damage to a unit to finish it off. You got the options there, and it's cheaper. Whereas this, you can deal 2 damage, but you can also then deal additional 1 damage. So it's kind of like, it could be better in situations, but then Daring Raid always seems a little bit more useful, because that 1 damage can be dealt to the same unit, and most of the time you're going to want to have just deal damage to 1 unit rather than just spread out. But that's aggression cards. So not many aggression cards. Well, it's actually fair for you, but it doesn't seem as many compared to the other aspects. But then we're going to get on next into the Cunning cards. So with the Cunning cards, like with the rest, we're starting off in the dark side, and we've got these 3 dark side cards. So like half of the dark side cards we've got for Cunning. We've got Soulless One, being a unique space unit. We've also got Rush Clovis as well, being a unique ground arena unit, and then Tactical Droid Commander, so more separatist cards. So Soulless 1 is a 1-cost 1/2 space unit, separatist, and on attack you may exhaust a friendly droid unit or General Grievous leader or unit, and I say it specifies that. And if you do, give this unit extra +2 for this attack. So you can exhaust your General Grievous leader for this in the leader area to get extra 2 attack, and I can't remember exactly if General Grievous needs to rest himself for an attack, well, for its effect. Yeah, it did. It needs to, General Grievous needs to rest itself to give a droid sentinel for this phase. So, like, depending if you want to, if you don't want to give sentinel to a unit for that phase, you can kind of just use this to rest your leader and just make it some more powerful when it swings, which is pretty good, and it's just a 1-cost. That's not too bad. Then you got Rush Clovis being a 4-cost 3/5, so like the kind of standard for 3 cost, but up in the cost more. Also has raid 2, so when it attacks, it swings for 5, so it's technically a 5/5 when it swings. And on attack, if the defending player controls no ready resource, you create a droid token. So if your opponent's tapped out, you can swing with this and gain a droid token as well, swinging for 5 damage, which is not too bad. That's pretty decent. And then we've got Tactical Droid Commander. So this one is a 5-cost 4/4 exploit 2. So by defeating 2 other units, you can play this for 2 less for each one. So if you defeat 1 unit, it comes as a free. If you defeat 2 units, it comes down as a 1 cost 4/4, which is pretty good. And then it's got an effect for when you play a never separatist unit. So it's got to be out and play a never separatist unit after. You may exhaust a unit that costs the same as or less than the unit played, and that's just every time. You can rest something that you can basically play a separatist and then rest something that costs the same as or less than the card you played. That's pretty good. It's pretty nice bit of control there. Nice little. There's quite a few commanders in green and also in yellow, which is pretty cool. So then we got the next lot of cunning cards, and these are more like more like the less separatisty kind of cards. So you got 0 to hut, so never hut card, and this one's 0, so it's a 5 cost 2/8, so the same stats as Jabba, just costs 1 more, and it's got effect both when played and on attack, which is pretty interesting. So when played, for each opponent, you may exhaust a unit that plays control. So when you play it, you can exhaust the unit. So it's pretty cool. Comes down quite a beefy boy, not too much damage, but then rests when you punish units. And then on attack, for each opponent, you can exhaust a resource that player controls. So every time it attacks, you can tap down one of your opponent's resources, which is pretty nice. Making your opponent have 1 less resource to use for a turn is pretty useful, meaning that you kind of need to use them up before there's 0 attacks, or get rid of 0 so they can't keep tapping them down, so 1 resource off. Pretty cool, pretty nice effect, but then quite high costing at 5, but then it could be quite useful. Then we got Wartime Profiteer, meaning a 1 cost event, allowing you to look at your top cards of your deck equal to the number of units that were defeated this phase, and then draw 1 and put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order, in a random order. So you look at the top card, top of your deck equals the number of units defeated. So if only 1 was defeated, you get to look at the top card. But at the very least, you're drawing 1 of the cards. Even if 1 unit was defeated, you get to draw at least 1 card. So you get like a replace like an upstart if you have a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of thing, which is not too bad. You can always control when something gets defeated. You can always ram 1 of your cards into your opponent to defeat them, and then trigger this, and maybe like take something out as well. It's pretty cool. And it's equal to the number of units defeated, and it counts both yours and your opponent's. If you ram 1 of your opponent's units with 1 of yours, and they both get defeated, that's 2 cards you can look at to the top and minimum for there. So not too bad for that. And then you got Unnatural Life. So another one of those cunning cards. I think it's just mainly cunning cards. Well, another one of those cards that allow you to play things out a bit cheaper, well, a little bit cheaper, but also for free from different areas, or from hand or from discard. It's Unnatural Life being another force card. I think the first Cunning force card I don't think I've seen any ever, because I've been trying to do force stuff with different certain leaders, and this one's pretty nice. A 3 cost event where you can play a unit that was defeated this phase from your discard pile, so it's got to be defeated that phase. It's the kind of a restriction, and it costs 2 less, and then it's player ready, so you're kind of paying the card for, I think 1 less if you pay a 6 cost players. Then you're paying a 6 cost for 5. No, these are 6 costs. You're paying 3 for this. Yeah, so you're basically paying the card back for 1 more than it normally costs, because you're reducing it by 2 instead of the same amount. So you're not, unlike the other ones where you're paying like for free or for a slightly reduced cost. You're paying it for just 1 more than it normally is, but it's defeated that phase. And at the start of the reroute phase, you defeat it. So you bring it back, basically essentially paying 1 to bring back a card that was defeated this a unit that's defeated this phase. Bring it back and ready, so you can use it straight away. But then it's defeated at the end of the turn. So it's kind of like sneak attack, but you're paying 1 more rather than 1 less. But you're paying it from your discard, but it's got to be defeated that phase. It's more restrictive, but still a pretty nice card. Pretty good rare, I would say. Pretty nice one there. And then we go on to the heroic side of the cunning cards. So we've got a new R2D2, a new Sabine Wren, which is pretty cool, and then we got also a new Force Jedi being Plo Koon. I think it's Plo Koon. I can't remember exactly. I know this. He's been in the Clone Wars quite a bit, but I can't remember exactly how to pronounce names. I'm not the best with names, but it's nice to have another R2. So this one's a 2 cost 2/4 in Cunning, Republic Android, and then it's got a nice 1 played where you can discard a card from your hand, like to set things up in the drop, which is quite nice. And then if you do, discard the top 3 cards of your deck for search the top 3 cards of your deck and for a card, and then draw it. Then place the rest of the cards on the bottom of your deck in random order. So that's pretty nice. You can discard a card in your hand that either you don't want or could be useless, or you want in the discard. Then look at the top 3 and grab any one of the cards there, but the rest ever 2 at the bottom. Yeah, cool. You basically replace the card with an option of 1 or 3 for the top, so it's kind of getting a card potentially you want. Then you got Supreme Run here, being a 4-cost 4/4, so a new Spectre. So there we go, a new Spectre. So Spectre are getting some more cards. New Supreme Run. And this one has a nice little effect where while this unit is exhausted, she can't be attacked unless she gains Sentinel. So while she's rested, not attacking. So the turn you play it, she can't be attacked in 2. It's pretty cool. And then whenever she attacks, as long as you attack with her the first, she's not going to be attacked in another one there. And she's supposed to Mandalorian, Spectre, and Fringe as well. I'm not sure why Fringe, but here we go, Mandalorian and Spectre as well. Not a Rebel in this case, so I don't know when this is from. But then she's got a nice little on attack. You can discard a card from your deck, and if it doesn't share an aspect with your base, you deal 2 damage to a ground unit. So you're kind of milling yourself out there to then deal 2 damage to a ground unit, which could be useful. That's quite cool. And then we got Plo Koon here as well. So 5-cost 3/6 has ambush. So when you play this unit, you can ready and attack an enemy unit. And it's also got raid 3 attached to coordinate. So while you got 2 other units along with him on board, he gains raid 3, meaning he gains an extra 3 power on that attack when attacking. So he becomes a 6/6 when attacking if you control 2 other units alongside him. So it's not too bad. That's pretty good. Pretty good for a 5-cost as well. That is quite a few quite a few ambush cards in Cunning. And that brings us to the last 2 of the Cunning cards, being these 2 events, being Creative Thinking, a nice little trick, and on top of things being a new upgrade. So Creative Thinking is pretty cool. It's a 2-cost trick where you can exhaust a non-unique unit and then create a clone trooper token. So you can exhaust the unit that's not unique, which is not the best kind of thing to go with non-unique, because you have a fair few cards that played a unique, like some pretty specific popular characters and specific kind of characters. So you can it's very restrictive on non-unique unit. There's a general one, but you can create a clone trooper unit for 2, which is not too bad. You're paying 2 costs to rest link and gain a 2/2 unit. Not too bad. And then on top of things here, being a 2-cost event, 2-cost upgrade that gives an extra 2 power to that unit once equipped. Is a trick as well, but then every time I see trick, I think Jabba, but then Jabba only reduces the cost of trick events, not upgrades. And it also has an effect where when played, the attached unit can't be attacked this phase unless it's Sentinel. So a nice thing similar to Sabine's. Basically, you put this on the unit and it can't be attacked that phase unless that's Sentinel. So you can protect something by putting this on and making it so it's free to not be attacked, not have to worry about people attacking to it, and then be able to use it freely to attack and stuff like that, while also powering up. So that's a pretty cool upgrade. And then that brings us to the last little bit, and that's going to be the Villainy Heroism stuff. So that brings us to the last little bit. So we've got the Villainy and Heroism cards. So these are the 3 Villainy and Heroism cards we got so far. So we've got the Invisible Hand being an 8-cost space unit, being a 4/7, so quite high costing. But then it has a nice little effect where when played, you create 4 Battle Droid tokens, so you spam out a load of tokens. So it's very helpful for things like Dooku, where you can attack, make the next Separatist card you play have exploit free, so you can play it a lot cheaper or potentially play it for free by sacking off 3 of those droid units. And it's got another effect where on attack, you can exhaust any number of friendly Separatist units, which I think the tokens have the Separatist and Republic trait. I'll just double check, make sure. So the clones, so the token units do have their thing, they're always Trooper, but then the droids are Droid and Separatist, where the clones are Republican clones. So you can tap down any of your droid tokens and deal 1 damage to a defending player's base for each unit exhausted this way. So you can swing, exhaust all 4 of those battle droid tokens and deal 4 damage to your opponent's base, while swinging this into base as well, doing 8 damage in that one swing. That's pretty nice. That's pretty interesting. Pretty cool. And then these 2 heroic units, you've got Republic Commando, being never a clone, 3-cost 2/5, so pretty good stats. Tech level stats, and he's got Saboteur as long as you got coordinate. So if you've got 2 other units along with him on board, he gains Saboteur, meaning he can ignore Sentinel and then defeat shields when attacking a defender. While attacking a unit, defeat their shields. Which is pretty cool. It's a pretty nice card. Saboteur is always a nice little skill. And then we got Tranquility being the last card, being a 7-cost 7/6 space unit, a Republic vehicle capital ship. And when it's played, you can return a Republic unit from your discard pile back to your hands. You can return any Republic unit, and that's most of the Jedi from that era. So things like Mace Windu, Plo Koon and things, what's it, Plo Koon and stuff like that. You can return those back to your hand. Like, pretty nice to get back any Republic units, to get back those popular ones you want, or pretty nice ones you want there, or set up a big unit. And then when it attacks, each of the next Republic cards you play cost 1 less. So essentially, you're playing this for 7, and you're not going to play, well, attack over the same turn, but the turn after you play, you probably have like 7 to 8 resources at least. And then when it attacks, you reduce the next Republic cards you play this phase by 1. So if you play 3 Republic cards, it will cost 1. You can play some pretty nice stuff at cheaper cost, and there's some that are kind of, if their cost a little bit cheaper, it'd be really good, and this kind of adds to that as well, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty cool ship, offering like, and also you make sure you're gonna have a Republic card to play next phase, because you could gain 1 back from its 1 play. So that's pretty cool effect. Attack with that straight away. Reduce the cost of the card you add back to hand. You can then pay it for 1 less on board, which is pretty cool. So that's it. That is all of the reveals we've had so far since the recording of this video. So let me know what you think. I reckon there's a lot of nice cards here. I'm looking forward to the blue stuff, because they go like more force units for blue. And Obi-Wan looks pretty interesting, and that's my like Obi-Wan and Maul are my kind of ones I really want to try out, because Obi-Wan more for the aspects, and Maul because this is one of my favorite characters for Star Wars. And then I'm also interested in Count Dooku, trying out with a more separatist focused deck. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.